Welcome to the unlikely. Imagine you're 100 feet underwater. Your flashlight is the only thing separating you from a darkness that hasn't seen the sun in 10,000 years. Suddenly, the water in front of you changes. It doesn't look like liquid anymore. It looks like a thick, swirling cloud of white smoke hanging suspended in the abyss. In the diving world, they call this the phantom floor. To most, it looks like the bottom of the cave, but if you gather the courage to sink through it, you aren't hitting solid ground. You are entering the death zone, a place where the laws of biology are suspended, and the atmosphere becomes toxic enough to kill. This is the Cenote of sacrifice. For decades, scientists have been warned. Whatever you do, do not stay below the cloud. But as modern technology allows us to push further into the Yucatan's entrance to the Underworld, we're finding that the toxic gas isn't the only thing we should be afraid of. From prehistoric remains that shouldn't exist to a blue silt that defies chemical analysis, the secrets buried here are so unsettling that some research teams have simply stopped. Tonight, we're going into the forbidden depths to find out what is really hidden beneath the phantom floor. To understand why scientists are terrified, you first have to understand the chemistry of a cenote. These are massive natural sinkholes, but they aren't filled with normal water. They are comprised of a halocline, a boundary where fresh rainwater sits on top of heavy, salty seawater. Where these two layers meet, a terrifying chemical reaction occurs. Decaying organic matter, leaves, animals, and other things gets trapped. Without oxygen, it creates a thick, opaque layer of hydrogen sulfide. This isn't just a visual trick. Hydrogen sulfide is highly toxic. It can be absorbed directly through a diver's skin. Even through a wetsuit, it begins to affect the central nervous system. This leads to what divers call the horrors. It starts with a feeling of being watched. Then the hallucinations begin. Experienced divers have reported seeing ancient Maya priests standing on the cloud, or elaborate stone cities shimmering in the darkness below. Scientists officially attribute this to gas toxicity and nitrogen narcosis, but for those who have been down there, the hallucinations feel far too real. But it's when you pass through the cloud that the real mystery begins. Below the mist, there is zero oxygen. It is a world of stagnant death where time literally stands still. If you punch through the cloud, anything that falls in doesn't rot. It becomes a time capsule. Archaeologists expected to find gold. Instead, they found something much more valuable and much stranger. The bottom of the Cenote of sacrifice is covered in a thick, vibrant blue silt. This is Maya blue, a pigment so technologically advanced that scientists still struggle to replicate its durability. It is resistant to acid, weather, and the passage of thousands of years. But why is it there? Research suggests the Maya would paint their sacrifices entirely in this blue pigment before casting them into the abyss. But among the human remains, divers found something that shouldn't be there. Deep in the forbidden sections of the cave system, divers discovered the skeletons of megafauna creatures like the giant ground sloth and prehistoric camels. These animals have been extinct for over 10,000 years. Here is the untold part. The position of these bones suggests they didn't just fall in. They were placed. In several caves, these prehistoric skeletons appear to be guarding entrances to even deeper tunnels that are currently off limits to all but the highest level government researchers. What were the Maya doing in caves that already held the remains of monsters from 10 millennia prior? Just like the terracotta army in China, there comes a point where science stops and the seal begins. In the emperor's tomb, it was the fear of mercury. In the Yucatan, it's a modern blackout. In recent years, several major exploration projects in the Yucatan have been abruptly shut down. Officially, the reason is always safety, but the timing is suspicious. In 2018, researchers discovered the Sac Actun system, the largest flooded cave mapping on Earth. They found over 200 sites of archaeological importance. But shortly after the discovery of several anomalous carvings that depicted celestial events, and creatures that do not match the known Maya history, large sections of the map were delisted from public records. Why is the world's most advanced LiDAR technology being used to map these caves, only for the results to be kept under lock and key? Quite, some whistleblowers suggest that the death zone isn't just a graveyard, it's a library. A place where the Maya stored knowledge they deemed too dangerous for the surface. According to ancient texts like the Popol Vuh, the phantom floor wasn't a natural accident, it was a biological barrier designed to keep the uninitiated out. Today, the Cenote of Sacrifice remains a place of deep unease. For tourists, it's a beautiful swimming hole. For archaeologists, it's a career-making find. But for the divers who have actually felt the phantom floor press against their skin, it is something else entirely. They know that the horrors they feel below the cloud might not just be the gas. They know that the blue silt is a shroud for a history we are not ready to understand. Science is afraid to open the emperor's tomb in China because of mercury. But in the Yucatan, they are afraid to open the entrance to the underworld because they aren't sure if the things living in the darkness ever actually left. If you were standing on the edge of the abyss and you saw the white clouds swirling below you, would you jump? Or would you listen to the warnings that have kept this place secret for 2,000 years? The Maya believed the world ends where the water begins. Looking at what we've found so far, they might have been right. If you found this deep dive fascinating, you need to see our video on the Keep Antarctica a Secret. The real reason no one is allowed to fly over the center of Antarctica. Click here to watch and don't forget to subscribe to The Unlikely for more untold mysteries that science is too afraid to touch.